The year 2022 was an extremely rewarding time period for Indian cinema in almost every division. The commercial side provided the world with the beguiling entertainment value of RRR, which rapidly catapulted the reach of the industry and greatly increased the number of potential consumers in the global scale. Not only that, but it had a prosperous run in various award shows conducted all over the world, even ranking as the best film for millions of people. In the more independent sectors, The Elephant Whisperers became the forerunner with its masterful blend of local culture and tradition of preserving and cohabiting alongside the fauna in a respectful manner, mainly for sacred reasons, and the universal connection and affection we tend to feel towards nature, whose prominence only grew after it managed to win in a notable category in the Oscars, transforming the documentary into a bastion of national pride. While these does take one in an emotionally stimulating ride, they lack in the challenging and thought-provoking department, which a title did manage to accomplish quite effortlessly while being outshined by the success of the aforementioned films. Shaunak Sen's environmentally conscious and politically heavy All That Breathes is a feature-length documentary that, despite being critically acclaimed, never got the widespread attention that it dearly deserved or demanded, seeing its pressing subject matter. Topics of such tone has always been a major focus in Sen's work. In his debut project, Cities of Sleep, he documented homeless people finding and improvising places to sleep amidst tremendous social and political pressure, that too in Delhi's harsh weather. There is a consistent philosophical and cinematic value to his documentaries, and it isn't the excellence of them that excites me, but how naturally he visualizes them. There is an art in allowing for such a moment to blossom and capturing it without disrupting the flow. His direction possesses this sensitive touch to how it unpacks the troubles of human beings in respect to their surrounding and other creatures that are trying their best to coexist in the same place and at the same time. There is a lot that is lost to the senses of so many people who have experienced the elegant brilliance of All That Breathes and the fluidity in how it achieves everything and more in such a short duration. Some obvious and some not so much.
मामी गई थी आज 20-25 औरतें भी गई थी और छोटी बच्ची को भी देखा था आज.
One of the elements about this film that is instantly established and easily recognizable is its technical aspects. The cinematography, sound design, and score continuously work in a perfect tandem with each other, and we get a quick taste of it and what is about to come right from the beginning. It masterfully reveals the underbelly of the capital, seamlessly merging the foreground and background to present the seen and unseen. A waste dump infested with rats along with pests and insects, where dogs and cats coincide in a small and congested area. A raw and gritty, but most importantly, meaningful experience that isn't displaying striking pictures just for the sake of it. It respects the capability of this audiovisual medium and the comprehension of the viewer to discern what it is trying to convey just from the visuals. Let it be a tribe of monkeys crossing a web of electric poles and wires, or a cow trying to find scraps to eat from the heap of burning leftovers. Animals of all forms and size are somehow finding ways to survive in the concoction of sewage and garbage cluelessly created and offloaded by us. It also does an excellent job at introducing the core characters in their work environment through various clever shots. From a practical split-screen scene to a long and slow segment showcasing their workshop, place of residency, and various family members. These sections are also used to provide us with more backstory and the origin of their love for birds. And what makes these sequences centered around the lively local life magnificent is its spontaneity and the naturalism factor that comes with it. With this being said, the most memorable and remarkable moments are produced when the film blends its beautiful score with its haunting imagery. gazing at the sheer urbanity of the city and nature's ability to adapt accordingly. The irreversible alteration of the land brought by humankind, meeting the adaptive and innovative force of natural selection and evolution, efficiently depicting the scale of destruction we have brought to their lives and world, as it never forgets about who and what the documentary is all about. It maintains a healthy balance between humans, animals, and the grounds they inhabit. However, it's the majestic black kites who are a wonder to witness. At its core, the film is surrounded by the seriousness of the matter in hand. Two tenacious and tireless brothers have made it their life's mission to take care of the injured black kites falling from the opaque and smog-choked skies, conducting that operation in the thick of their struggles and crowded house that is littered with tools at every corner, improvising with the utilities they're able to afford, financial constraints colliding with the toxic air quality and Delhi's unbearable climate, resulting into an outcome where every single step of there is met with more hindrances, electrical blackouts when they have no backups available, flooding of their place of work, and malfunctioning of their machines. But they endure through these depressing and frustrating blockades out of a cultural belief and their childhood fascination and aspiration of aiding a neglected board, even with their limited knowledge and equipment, as otherwise they wouldn't have survived. It's not only heartwarming, but inspiring to witness the lengths they choose to go, even if it hurts them. Juggling between multiple tasks, overworking from dusk till dawn, and keeping their personal desires and dreams aside to focus on the bigger goal. However, it isn't a smooth sailing voyage. The state of the relationship between them and their occasional disagreements is a direct symptom of what is happening to the birds, their city, and its debilitating atmosphere. Something bigger and out of their reach. But the strong bond between them helps the siblings to overcome that quandary. While the locals do appreciate and admire their work, they can't lessen the burden from their shoulders. But the devotion to assist those aerial animals and possibly leaving their place in a better condition since they came there, and imparting not only that, but a message to their successors, grants them with enough mental strength to never stop, even if it might feel like they have given their everything, or how it seems as if they are simply applying a small bandage on a gaping wound. Ultimately, we owe that to the nature which has been sustaining us for millenniums, and for all the harmful mutation we have brought to it out of greed and a habit of exploitation, where our decisions are forcing the black kites to overhaul their entire way of life and place in the ecosystem, as they are left to desperately clear out the ever-increasing hills of wastage, which we don't even clearly know how to deal with. We might not ever be able to truly understand those beings or the motives behind their actions, but it is clear that they have understood what sort of world they are presently living in and the perilous situation that it is currently going through. What is undoubtedly becoming a daunting truth for us, that it is simply a matter of time before we are similarly threatened. After all, one shouldn't, and particularly this impartial world of ours, will never differentiate between all that breathes.
जो चीजें सांस लेती हैं, उनमें कोई फर्क नहीं दिखना चाहिए.
दिल्ली की गलियां अब हिंसा की भयानक गवाही दे रही हैं. जी बिल्कुल.
A side of this film that isn't mentioned in most of the popular reviews is its lingering political and social commentary, which shouldn't come as a surprise when one of the prominent figures in that community got confused between Delhi and Mumbai. Even though it doesn't start off or is directly a socio-political film, the urgent story it is trying to deliver is massively affected by it, alongside the previously mentioned external factors such as Delhi's pollution and overpopulation, which has placed a new strain on the balance between all living beings who are trying their best to resist the almost inevitable ecological disaster, all while the oblivious leaders either deny or don't even try to understand the change in the climate. as they are busy threatening each other with a potential nuclear war. A news that is needlessly spreading fear, all thanks to the forever useless social media websites. Digital realm aside, the outside world is filled with the background noise resulting from the speeches held by local politicians, where we can hear words such as a fight of peace and non-violence, empathy and unity, and in the name of principles and the Constitution. Willingly or forcibly, majority of the time, the conclusion of these disputes are always the opposite, and the family in question, being a minority, suffers from the worst treatment. Laws passed in favor of equality have underlying contempt towards certain groups, which develops a constant fear amongst them of being forcefully deported for idiotic reasons. Ironically, all of that goes against the essence of Indian Constitution, but that gets broken multiple times. What's saddening is the hopelessness in their face that speaks in multitude of levels without uttering a single word. In the midst of the news regarding civil unrest, we get to hear there are some significant scenes which illustrates the additional struggles and protests they have to lead in order to defend their entire existence at a time when other issues are meant to be tackled. But how can one expect that when the people in power are using the same tactics that once divided the country and its citizens into multiple pieces? And yet, a predominant bulk of the populace choose to continue with their lives as if all of that isn't unethical or immoral. And that sentiment is perfectly conveyed in this single occasion. Not simply showing it or talking about it, but letting the audio and facial expressions do the heavy lifting. Unsurprisingly, under this social tension, violence takes over the streets of Delhi. Death and destruction in the name of religion, and people defending their own with their lives. Kill or get killed, leading to a scenario where even the hospitals got overflowed with patients. All of this isn't done by the director to take a political stance, but it was simply necessary seeing how close in proximity it was happening to the family and openly affecting their livelihood, some having to migrate to safer places or stay under the immunity provided by their community. Unfortunately, religious riots were and still are a common occurrence, spread not only by generational hatred but internalized disgust towards other religions, birthing a violent behavior that tends to defame others who follow a different lifestyle. Mass killings done in order to send a message that openly reveals the ugly and actual identity of the society and how people truly see each other. However, never forget that at the end of the day, all of us breathe the same air, and no one can ever escape the damages we have done to it.
चीज़ों की परवाह इसलिए नहीं की जाती क्योंकि उनका देश, मज़हब या उनकी पॉलिटिक्स आप जैसी है। ज़िंदगी खुद एक तरह की रिश्तेदारी है। हम सब हवा की बिरादरी हैं, इसलिए हम पक्षियों को छोड़ नहीं सकते।